Before any tire hit the asphalt, these waters were the main thoroughfare for those who settled along its banks. Flowing from the Mississippi to the Gulf, a culture took hold along Bayou Lafourche. And for those that have called it home for generations, or only for a weekend, this way of life takes hold and remains with you. It doesn't matter where you come from, it matters that you just go. Lewis and Clark, right here, baby. Your taste doesn't matter. It matters that you savor it all. Yeah! Down the bayou, it doesn't matter how you play. It just matters that you play.
Let's hear it for the drummer!
I got 5 more minutes till I get gone. And there ain't no changing the road I'm on.
A millennium ago, Bayou Lafourche was the river. And with the meandering Mississippi came the land that would someday bless and nurture a culture.
Take me down to the river, gonna set my spirit free.
The bayou did more than run through the heart of it all. It was the heart of it all, and at the heart of Lafourche Parish. Lafourche may only be an hour away from New Orleans, but it's authentic Cajun. Lafourche is the real deal.
Gonna set my spirit free.
Lafourche was also the place where a Chicago kid got his first job in television. And it's because of Lafourche and its people that I still call Louisiana home today. Lafourche stays with you. Maybe it's something in the water. I took to that water of Bayou Lafourche with Carrie St. Pé of the Barataria Terrebonne National Estuary Program.
You know, the land is our people, is who we are. Certainly that's true with Bayou Lafourche too.
Lafourche is taken from the French word for fork, and Bayou Lafourche does just that, as it forks away from the Mississippi River and journeys 100 miles to the Gulf of Mexico. But it wasn't always that way.
1,000 years ago, this bayou was the Mississippi River. This was the main channel of the Mississippi River. So the Mississippi River built all this, but it's because of what the place provides. That's why all these cultures have come here.
Living along both banks on higher ground, settlers created one long waterway that folks in Louisiana call the world's longest main street. You can't tell where one town begins and another ends, but you know you're in Cajun country. It took about 7,500 years for the Mississippi River to create the wetlands of southeast Louisiana. It took about 75 years for man to place it all in danger.
You know, that's why the estuary program is struggling to restore this area. It's because of the people, because of the unique culture.
Is this a fight we can win?
Yeah, we can win it, I think, but we need to build land.
To do that, sometimes you need to hit the water to shore up support. And that's what happens every April during the 4-day canoe and kayak excursion called Paddle Bayou Lafourche. A trip down this main street puts its nature and history into focus.
We wanted to restore a sense of pride in the bayou itself. We wanted to explain to people that this is a rich cultural experience, has a rich history, but what it's become is a showcase for our culture.
You don't have to paddle the bayou for all 4 days. Each leg of the tour features a feast of all things Cajun, from history to music to food. And it's all done in good fun.
Ramming speed. I'm just kidding.
Under the moss and past the backyards, there is a lesson with the laughter. You lose the land, you lose the people, you lose the culture.
Yes, and that's the most tragic thing of all.
I will travel down Bayou Lafourche and celebrate its amazing way of life. But now with the understanding that that way of life is in peril. Along this slow-moving bayou that flows between the past and the present, there are places that chronicle its saga. In Thibodaux, that story finds a voice. And at the Edie White Historic Site, it speaks volumes.
It represents cultures that go back to the 18th century. There are not too many of this type of house left, where you had the Acadian culture being replaced by the American country culture, but the house today reflects both. So historically and architecturally, it's very significant.
An Acadian family settled the property in 1790, and later it became the plantation home of one of Louisiana's foremost political families, the Whites. Edward Douglas became governor, and his son was a Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Inside the home, displays and artifacts tell the family story. Outside, 500-year-old oaks bear witness. Sugarcane fields still surround the property and stand as a testament to how these people of the bayou made their living.
I think if you go in and shut your eyes and sort of think about the way people lived in the houses, people lived both simply, but for the times, the people who lived here lived very well.
A little way down the bayou to Laurel Valley Village, a different story is told.
Laurel Valley is the largest surviving 19th and 20th century sugarcane complex left in America. There are nearly 60 buildings out here that stretch in age from around 1815 to 1925.
Laurel Valley Village seems frozen in the past. Farm animals seem unaware of the time warp, and Paul Leslie sees it as a teachable moment. So if Laurel Valley is a lesson, what do people learn when they come here?
They learned how America lived from 1800 all the way up to the 1900s. These plantations were pretty much as what we see here today. You can see slave cabins that go back to the 1830s and 40s. Here is the American factory complex, the pre-industrial complex. The worker stayed close to the work. He worked in the fields, he worked in the factory, and his life revolved around the field and the factory. And so as a result, these workers, these people who lived on these plantations, this became their city, this became their school, this became their church.
The cane still grows, and now Hollywood comes to film and recreate a past. But that past is always here at Laurel Valley.
This plantation's been a part of the whole lesson of American history.
Another Lafourche landmark gives history a little well-deserved panache. Welcome to my house for tonight.
We see ourselves as the gateway to the Bayou country from New Orleans, and we're in the Queen City of Thibodaux. So we have converted this into a bed and breakfast in the past 3 years.
The Dansereau House has become the crown jewel of this Queen City. Simply put, this is not your ordinary bed and breakfast.
It's a 3-story, 9,000 square foot mansion. It was built in the 1800s by doctors.
Even back then, if one had the means, one would find a way to keep the family peace.
Dr. Dansereau, he had 11 children. So I would imagine that stimulated the size of the house.
Now it's a perfect setting for family reunions, weddings, and great escapes. Paul and Lori Worrell have succeeded at recapturing the splendor of the home's original design. In 2 of the 6 suites, guests will marvel at the majesty of this hidden gem.
Well, here you go. This is the governor's suite.
Sweet. Do I have to be elected to the great state of Louisiana to stay here, or is this available to anybody?
Oh, this is available to anyone, yes. You do not have to be a politician, and you do not have to be royalty. You can be...
But you'd feel like royalty in a bed like this. Oh my gosh. Are people surprised when they come into the Dansereau house to see exactly how plush this place is, how elegant this is in the heart of Cajun country?
Yes, pretty much every time someone comes in here for the first time, that's exactly the kind of reaction that we get.
Even with a monarch-sized bathroom like this, there is no pretense here. First-timers will be amazed at how quickly they are welcomed into the neighborhood. The Drinkery, a small bar downstairs, gathers some of Thibodaux's finest. With a good drink and great local music from artists like Brett Melanson, it seems everybody knows your name here. And since you're in Cajun country, they probably do.
The unique culture that we have, we really believe that this particular place expresses and enhances the culture that's here.
It's more than hospitality, it's a real personal connection, and that's just the Cajun way. And what makes Occasion is at the heart of the Acadian Cultural Center in Thibodaux. As part of the Jean Lafitte National Park, the center explores the connection between the people, the coast, and the customs they have created. And every Monday, that connection becomes something you can feel and dance to. The Free Cajun Jam is a local favorite, who see it as a way to help preserve the way it was, which is the name of the band that is connected by their love of this traditional music.
Comme c'était means like it was. So that's what we do, like it was. We don't change the words, we don't change the style. We're just country people doing Cajun music and having a great time and hoping that what we do inspires and tickles somebody else for free.
The music connects generations. Jerry Moody, who leads the jam, learned to speak French from his grandmother, but he wouldn't take up the accordion until he was 57.
When I started learning to speak French, my uncle told me one time, he said, Jerry, to talk French, you got to turn your tongue the other way. So in order to explain Cajun music, I tell them they have to turn their mind the other way because the songs are not always literal.
The songs also had to turn the mind of Jerry's wife, Judy. The Portland native wasn't a fan until the honesty of the music connected to a chord within.
After we went to some of the jam sessions, I was so awestruck. By the sincerity. The music is just so compelling, and it's not as compelling until you really listen and sit with it for a while.
When the music connects, sitting is hard to do.
When an accordion player fires it up and starts playing his music, it's there, and people normally cannot sit still. They're going to tap their feet, they're going to get up and dance, they're going to do something.
If the rhythm is going to get you, you might as well know how to dance.
1, 3, 4, 5.
The Louisiana Swamp Stomp Festival at Nicholls State University is the perfect place to learn. The event was recently named a top 20 festival in the Southeast, and it's 3 days that celebrate the music of the Bayou, Cajun, Zydeco, and Swamp Pop. Plus, if you get to the campus early, there's a graduate program for your feet.
Learn the steps, learn to dance well enough to have fun. That's the most important thing.
Good. 3, 4. How you guys doing?
The graduates of Glenn and Lori at Zydeco Cajun Dance Productions can be seen at most festivals.
1,
They're the ones
4,
dancing.
5, 7. Play me some slow music. I can't get the hang of this.
I always tell my students the first night, we don't teach ballroom dancing. We teach ballroom dancing. This is having a good time. You're not in any competition, you're out there to have fun.
With my first lesson complete, I remembered that saying, dance like nobody's watching. But trust me, they are watching. It just doesn't matter at the Louisiana Swamp Stomp Festival. Even interpretive dance is encouraged here, especially when Louisiana's rockin' fiddler, Waylon Thibodaux, rosins up his bow. Waylon's unique style is a mixture of all things Louisiana. It's Cajun, it's Zydeco, with a pinch of New Orleans and a dash of rock and roll. And it's sure to get you up on your feet. Waylon began playing professionally at the age of 13, and since then, the music only stops for the other staple of Cajun culture, food.
I have 2 favorite passions, and one is music, and the other one is definitely cooking and eating.
So music and food are your 2 favorite things?
You know it, absolutely.
Is there another place on earth that combines it more than here?
Not anywhere else in the country, you know, other than Louisiana, because this is where it all originated from, you know?
And it's in restaurants like Freeman's that young chefs are raising the bar on that tradition. Just like the completely renovated downtown landmark itself, executive chef Kevin Tomplay builds on the area's heritage and creates something original.
Here at Freeman's, we're taking, Cajun, South Louisiana and Cajun Creole culture and food, and we're putting a spin on it that's served in an upscale way that's appealing to the crowd looking for, some of those new and exciting dishes.
Oh my God. That's like a well-mixed CD, I guarantee you, brother.
Let me take a spin on this.
Every ingredient is in its place. They do such an incredible job here on that food. God, my tongue is doing the Cotton Eye Joe, let me tell you. I can almost hear myself getting fat.
That's why you play that music, so you can dance it off. Nobody works that hard.
I guarantee you, my friend.
Chef Tomplay has created inspired renditions of the past, and now he wants us to taste them all.
Smell that?
I love how the garlic gets in your nose.
Right away. Yeah, people love it here.
Yes.
Good does not even begin to describe the charbroiled oysters.
I'm speechless.
I got nothing to say. I'm not going to say anything, because it would only spoil the moment.
It's hard to talk when your mouth is looking forward to more awesomeness.
Then we have our redfish Bell River, a little blackened redfish fillet with a crawfish mushroom brandy cream sauce on top. Get the lemon risotto on the side.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's almost too pretty to eat.
Nothing's too pretty not to eat.
Oh my Lord.
When you start saying prayers after a bite, that's good.
From appetizers to entrees to the catch of the day, the goodness just kept on coming.
You do it well, Chef.
I had no idea that this place was called heaven. So when I die, I want to go to heaven. I didn't know I was coming to Thibodaux.
We'll step over you in here. We'll step over you.
To find the next generation of top chefs, I met with Randy Sheremy, the executive director at the John Fulce Culinary Institute at Nichols State.
The good thing about being in culinary school is in culinary classes, you get to eat your classwork. You know what's the bad thing? Sometimes you have to eat your classwork.
Randy is a Cajun Renaissance man, an accomplished actor, chef, and a friend, and now he's overseeing the only 4-year culinary program in the state.
We're a university experience, and that's what sets us apart. They're earning a Bachelor of Science degree. We teach our students all the different types of international cuisines. We very much are a big part of teaching them the business of food service.
With a new campus in the works, any visit to Lafourche should include some serious class time.
Our student-run restaurant is called Le Bistro at the Carmel Inn. People dining there think they're dining out for the evening, and they are, but it's really a class.
What is our menu for tonight?
The menu has 6 courses, and Chef Randy grades them all.
Wow, that is so good.
What's the hardest, this service or later tonight? What are you more worried about? His?
Be honest.
Be honest.
Honestly, Chef Randy's.
I'm very proud of you, all right? Look forward to dinner tonight. Yum, yum.
Before that, we had one more stop to the meat mecca of Louisiana, Bourgeois Meats. It's one of Chef Randy's must-eats.
And if Randy says you have to go, you have to go. He is the only man ever to tell Jean-Claude Van Damme no and live on film.
You saying that. You promised me you would
No.
When did that happen?
Hard target. Rent it today.
Oh, man. Let's get on the subject at hand. Bourgeois has been known for many, many years for just selling some of the best hogshead cheese, some of the best assortment of sausages for boudin, for boudin noir,
I might have to get another hat because you keep talking like that. This ain't gonna fit.
Well, I'm telling you, but it's a well-earned distinction. It's not many places you can go to in Louisiana that, in the food business particularly, that an entity has been around for 122 years.
1891.
For 4 generations now, Bourgeois' Meat Market has curbed the cravings of Louisiana's hungriest carnivores.
One of the other things he does here real great, he smokes and makes his own jerky. That is some of the best you'll ever eat, pal, let me tell you.
Aside from Chef Randy's stamp of approval, the crowded parking lot on a no-meat Friday in the middle of Lent speaks volumes. But Donald has that market cornered with a crawfish boudin.
I told you I wanted you on film when you ate it. I wanted to see your face.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of love right there.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It's
a lot of pride and a lot of love.
Pride, love, and family. That's what built Bourgeois' meat market, and that's what'll keep it going as long as man loves meat. My culinary journey would end with a crescendo at Le Bistro. Tonight, these young chefs did more than aspire to greatness. They achieved it.
You are a proud papa today.
I am. These kids, this is a very good class. I'm very excited for these kids, and they can't stand it. They're so excited. I'm telling you, they really are, because they've been working a long time for this, doing a lot of hard work, and a lot of, they do it all.
Each course was as flawless as the orchestrated movements of the Russian service. That's right, this Bayou Bistro does Russian.
It's not something you see every day.
Where do you see?
White House.
White House.
For steak dinners at the White House, and then Downton Abbey on TV.
We are PBS, so it's perfect.
The grades are in, and the taste traditions of Louisiana are in good hands.
Chef, I could get used to this.
Salud.
Salud.
And yes, that will go on your permanent record. My trek continued down LA1 as the highway rides shotgun with the bayou into the Gulf of Mexico. Joining me is Wendell Curall, one of the state's leading coastal experts.
I drive down and I have a little sadness in my heart knowing what the eventuality is that we're going to lose so much of South Louisiana. It's never going to come back. But yet it's still to this day a great place to have a great time.
A drive down Highway 1 is a trip directly into this unique and beautiful way of life. And it is a drive everyone should take. Past the shrimping fleets of today and yesterday, into local seafood places that have launched 1,000 recipes. But the farther south you go, down this longest main street, the more the land vanishes.
We have the greatest land loss in maybe the world, and yet a place like Leeville, there's hardly anything left of it, and yet it's still a tremendous place, tremendous fishing.
Fishing is why there's a Bobby Lynn's Marina in Leeville.
Leeville gives you a great jumping off point that you don't really need a big boat to go and experience all the wildlife that we have here. And if you want to spend a day on the water kayaking, you could come for a week and go in a different direction every day and never see the same thing twice.
Not being that good with directions, I opt for a kayak charter, which really was the only way to go, for multiple reasons.
That is why you get a charter. That was magic. David Blaine has nothing on that move.
People have kayaked all over the United States, but it's just in the past few years that people realize how awesome it is to be able to paddle in the marshes down here, kind of like the original settlers, Lewis and Clark type deal. They spend the day and then see all the wildlife that the Barataria National Estuary has to offer and, all the things that we cherish.
With the combination of kayak and casting, everything was closer. The Gulf and the fish, they were more true. It was the perfect way to discover the real attraction of the coast.
It's one of God's gifts. This area is just, it's so pristine, it's clean. The fisheries are phenomenal. The people are friendly, willing and wanting to host you and feed you.
It's a never-ending feast down here on the bayou, and that's why our journey will end in La Rose. The crawfish are ready to boil. Where there are mud bugs, music, and friends, there is a celebration. It's just the Cajun way.
People understand life is short. They understand that things change. We see our land disappearing before our eyes. So when it's time to work, you have to work real hard. When it's time to play, you take advantage of it.
It's a way of life that says great food can make good friends.
How come you're only using one napkin? How's that possible?
How is it not possible?
I don't want to get all philosophical.
Look, if you got a full stomach and it's good food, it's hard not to be happy.
Down the bayou, nothing beats a crawfish boil.
A crawfish, it reminds me of here. This is where I learned how to do crawfish. And use way too many napkins. Obviously, I still need some practice.
This is the bayou you must see, through the eyes of those that love it.
When I see the bayou, I see home. It's just a special place, and I know we don't have anything like this in the rest of the world like we do here on Bayou Lafourche.
The dance continues, the laughter lingers, and the friendships you make, regardless of how fleeting, will be there when you return. Because you will return to Lafourche.